Hello and welcome back to Vampire Therapist. As I already said in the first episode, I thought I recognized some of the voices, like the Reinhardt, for example. I thought that I recognized him, but I wasn't. I thought it was Flula, but no, it was Matthew Mercer, and he is part of Critical Role, and he also voiced where was it? Who did he voice? Well, he's part of Critical Role, and that's where I know him from. But we also had some actors like the creator of this game, Cyrus Nemati, who voices Sam, who voices Maxie, who voices Dr. Drain, and who also voices Andromechos. Also plays in Hades, and plays Ares, for example. And I think that's really interesting. Ares, Dionysus, and Theseus. So I also was wrong that Andromechos sounds like Hades in the game of Hades. But aside of that, I'm sorry, that's me being geeky about voice actors in general and figuring out where I know them from. So yeah, let's continue with Isabella.
So you're talking about a literal pathway to God?
No, fool. A pathway to godliness. To live according to our natures. Our true natures.
What do you mean?
Oh, you mean being Italian?
Madre de Dio, what are you talking about? What is an Italian? I care nothing of nations and their petty squabbles. Like mortals, they die and are forgotten.
Oh, sorry. I just figured on account of the accent and all.
What accent?
Never mind. Well, talk to me about this pathway to God. How do you reckon we find this path?
I reckon nothing. I've always known that we can find our way back to God by fulfilling our human potential to be the greatest souls possible.
You really think we've got that much control, Senora? All we gotta do is be perfect, and then we've got our pathway to the Almighty?
Yes, it seems quite clear to me.
Senora, if that's how it is, it ain't no wonder you ain't forgiving yourself or anyone for the slightest mistakes. I would ask myself if anyone really has that much control. But keep talking.
I have always known we must master ourselves and our baser instincts. Virtue must triumph over vice.
You know, there have been many entities over time that have tried to control humanity. They have all failed, and the Signora would do well to remember it.
You've been around a while, Senora. In all that time, when have we mastered ourselves and our baser instincts?
Not a single day. Men especially have no bottom to their depravity.
All right, fair enough. So us fellas have disappointed you every day for a few hundred years, right? Ain't that proof that nothing you do is gonna change that?
An evil thought, Mr. Sam Walls, but true, I concede.
We're in agreement then. It's a little bit of a control fallacy to think that's gonna change because of you. Let's keep going.
I have always known that the earthly lives we lead are disgusting, and only war and death can come of them.
The world is very dark to our dear Signora, is it not, Samuel? I did not know my own life was so devoid of meaning.
I have always known that the earthly lives we lead are disgusting, and only war and death can come of them.
Hold up just a sec there, cowpoke. You really think all we can do is sow death and destruction?
I do not poke cows. Do I look like a farmer?
I already thought that she would not like this name.
Come on, Senora. You've been alive to see what? 15, 20 billion people live and die? You really saying death and destruction is all each and every one of them ever amounted to?
Well, perhaps not individually, but as an immortal, I look at the greater arc of history.
Well, most of us ain't looking to contribute to the greater arc of history, but that don't mean life's pointless. That's some Nosferatu thinking, I'll tell you what. But let's continue.
I have always known the people have become fat and lazy, and living within the Garden of Eden is impossible in such a state.
Our esteemed client is very good at coming up with names for others, isn't she? Perhaps you can call her out on this behavior.
I have always known the people have become fat and lazy, and living within the Garden of Eden is
Sounds to me like you're coming up with labels for kicking people out of the Garden of Eden. Is that all we amount to? Fat and lazy?
Look around your own country, boy. Look at me. See my disgusting rolls and saggy features. Would you let me into the Garden of Eden?
Well, sure, why the heck not?
I am glad you are not the gatekeeper, then.
You rather have a gatekeeper who wouldn't let you in? Listen, Senora, you gotta go easy on yourself with them labels. Well, let's keep talking, though.
I have always known we should act with dignity if we would take our place at God's side once more.
Huh?
Who told our dear Senora all these things that must be done to reach God?
I have always known we should act with dignity if we would take our place at God's side once more.
I'm sorry, I didn't see the little should there.
I think this here's the meat of it, Senora. The filet mignon.
I fear your French is even worse than your Italian.
Here's the thing, Senora. Who came up with all them shoulds that'll take you to God?
Why, the greatest thinkers of history that I studied in my youth. Plato, Aristotle, Cicero, Aquinas.
Sounds like a bunch of dead guys to me. They really had it all figured out way back when, huh?
Well, of course not. How foolish do you think me?
Not at all, Senora. Just questioning where all them shoulds are coming from. But let's keep going.
So you think you are so very clever, do you, boy? That by pointing out my distortions, you have won. That is where you are truly the fool. I already know how wrong I have been, that I have been chasing an impossible fiction all my life. Indeed, I now believe that even if we did follow the pathway to God, once we reached the end, we would discover that he, too, was a work of fiction. When I say God, I mean goodness, propriety, intelligence. God himself is a lie.
I see. So you've lost your faith.
Yes, it has crumbled to dust, much like myself in this fat, wretched old body. Beauty and truth are lies. Ideas developed by ugly men to justify their existence. While we occupy ourselves chasing those ideals, they create space wars to leech our money and our vitality. And to think they call me judgmental while they created the false ideal to judge against. You don't think I'm judgmental, do you, boy?
I wouldn't put it that way exactly. Besides, I ain't gonna call you names. In fact, that's where I think I want to challenge you. Senora, I think the person you're judging more than anyone is yourself. I know you got raised with all them high ideals, so of course you're getting disappointed when nobody can reach them. That's some heavy pressure, not just on them, but on yourself. I'd ask yourself what all that pressure's doing for you. Is it bringing you any satisfaction? We can't always control what things are gonna be.
This is not acceptable.
Hold on, I know this one. What the heck she mean it's unacceptable to not be in control all the time?
Unacceptable!
Say that again, Senora? I got some bad news for you, Senora. None of us really has the power to change the world on our own. Not even a clever lady like yourself. I suggest we start working on ways of helping you find a way to accept the world for what it is.
But the world is base and unworthy.
Remember that term I told you about? Nosferatu thinking? You're gonna strip all the color out of the world if you keep doing that. The world's a lot more than just base and unworthy.
Nosferatu thinking. I am not used to having my own thoughts thrown back at me.
Well, that's why you're here, ain't it? I ain't gonna help you change the world, Senora. All I can do is help you find some other perspectives.
I suppose there is a certain simpleton's wisdom in the way you speak.
Yeah, I see a smile. Is there a hint of the smile? I mean, Andy said that, or anybody said that she would be the model of Mona Lisa. I mean, that's the smirk right there, maybe.
Thanks, I guess.
Very well, boy. I will consider what you have said. We will meet again in exactly 4 weeks. Do we have an understanding?
Yes, indeed, Senora.
Ugh. Please learn to speak properly by then.
Well done, Samuel. I believe you handled Senora Deste quite well.
You kidding? That lady straight up hates my guts.
Samuel, if Isabella Deste hated your guts, she would not be shy about telling you so.
That I believe.
The older we get, the harder it is to gain a different perspective. Have patience. We are not all as wise as Samuel Walls.
Guess it's just that simpleton's wisdom, as the Senora called it.
Do not adopt her labels, Samuel. I will not stand for it. I know she was a challenge, but you rose to it as I knew you would. I think you deserve a night of hard drinking. What do you say?
You don't need to tell me twice. All right, Andy. I'll see you later then.
Indeed, Samuel. Enjoy yourself. Excellent work tonight.
Thank you.
Rest in peace.
Are we partying? Are we partying or racing? Yeah, we're partying! Yeah!
Dang, I think that's enough abuse for one night. I could use a drink and a quiet night.
Hey, cowboy. Why the long face?
I used to say the same thing to my princess.
Your daughter.
My horse, actually. She never really understood the joke, but I still like telling it to her.
You didn't answer my question, gunslinger. What's got you down?
Oh, I just finished up with my second client. She gave me a tongue lashing to remember her by. You ever talk to someone who's so educated and refined that they make you feel like a space alien?
Only everyone I ever met in law school. At least until I learned to speak their language.
You're a lawyer?
Was, and no, I wasn't the blood-sucking kind, before you start with the vampire jokes. Just a wide-eyed DC do-gooder. But I get what you're talking about. People can use language like a membership card. You don't speak the lingo, you don't get in.
Well, that's just what I mean. I just ain't sure I've got the lingo for a 500-year-old high society Renaissance woman.
Well, how do you think your session went? Think she heard you?
Well, she did say that I'd given her some stuff to think about. And to tell the truth, she seemed kind of embarrassed about that.
So what? If she heard you, I'd take the W, cowboy.
Take the W? What, the wagon?
The win, Gramps. Maybe she isn't gonna relate to you, but that doesn't mean she can't hear you.
Oh, you're probably right. I guess I'll take the W. And while you're at it, I'll take some B too. That's blood, see?
What are you in the mood for? Men? Women? Something a little more off the beaten path?
I think I'll have some takeaway tonight. What have you got?
Here, try this. Should put some color in those cheeks.
You really ain't squeamish, huh, Crimson?
Nah, healthy blood never hurt anyone. I've been hanging around vampires for 20 years, and they aren't so scary.
Not even Bert?
What, that old pointy-eared teddy bear? He's a total sweetheart, unless someone gets aggressive or touchy with the customers.
What does he do then?
They get a stern warning.
And if they don't listen?
Why, then he eats them.
Maybe he is a teddy bear. I met Teddy Roosevelt back in the night, and I'm pretty sure he would have done the same thing. speaking of which, I gotta thirst something fierce. I think I'll head back to my coffin for a little rest. But you have a good night, Crimson.
You too, Sam. Don't let the Draculas bite.
Time to crack open a warm one. That's the good stuff. Now, maybe I can find a quote from one of my favorite books that'll help give me a little inspiration. Or I could watch the Three Stooges hit each other a whole bunch. Or I could just go to sleep. What's it gonna be, Sammy boy? My profession is to be always on the alert, to find God in nature, to know his lurking places.
Uh-huh.
I always like that quote. I ain't a God-fearing kind, but it's true. There's a natural beauty behind the man-made world if you know where to look. Isabella d'Este's all culture and breeding, but underneath, she's got her vulnerable and beautiful humanity too. I just gotta remember that. All right, that's enough for one night. Time for some rest. I hope my next client will be a little easier.
We'll see about that.
Samuel, good evening. I am glad to see you looking so fresh and well slept.
Thinks her life was meaningless because modern art is meaningless too. Apparently this rise of the spacewalker movie set her off. Extremely high-minded. Major issues with her former husband. Thinks most people are corrupt, especially menfolk. Used to be a devout Catholic. Not so much anymore. Likes to be in control. Maybe a lot of control fallacies. Next time I'll dig into the family stuff. Seems like there's a lot of anger there.
Uh-oh, something tells me I'm in for it tonight.
The truth is seldom unseen by you, my friend. Tonight, you face perhaps one of the most difficult challenges a therapist can face. The fact that you may not be able to help everyone. In truth, I have failed to help clients with this particular disposition many times.
Hey, I'm new at this. You're nigh on 3,000 years old. If you can't help them, how can I?
It is not guaranteed that we can help every client. To think we are powerless to help any is a cognitive distortion itself. I believe you know it. Come now, Samuel, you are more capable than this. What distortion is it to believe that we cannot help anyone?
Yeah, all right, control fallacy, I know. I can help some folk.
That's right. Here, take a look at this case file.
Theater feller, huh? I've known a few of them in my time. They can be a little, self-absorbed.
Pretty young. Edmund Kean, 237, male, British. Edmund Kean was a highly influential Shakespearean stage actor during the Georgian period. He's credited with more personal interpretations of character as opposed to pantomime performances. He lived a tumultuous life on stage, dealing with alcoholism, sex scandals, and entitled behavior. He wishes in return to He wishes to return to the stage, but expresses greater anger at critics who might review him poorly. He demands respect as the greatest actors that the world has ever seen. Oh, control fallacies all over again.
He's looking for therapy because people don't like him, it says?
He is one of the most revered actors in all of history.
So he might have a few cognitive distortions.
A few. He may not recognize them, Samuel, but all you can do is present reality to him. He comes. Remember, I will give you whatever advice I can. Good luck, my friend.
I hope I'm up to this.
What is this vampire I see before me?
I'm Sam Walls. I'm your new therapist.
Your dress, your bearing, your hat. You also are forgotten by time. Oh, how fortuitous! A kindred spirit, perhaps. A therapist should know pain, I say. Most excellent.
Tarnation. Can't get a break with this here hat of mine.
No, it's perfect. Do not change a single thing. It gives me faith. Faith, my dear vampire, that you can help me.
I'm gonna do everything I can. I promise you that, amigo.
Do not do so lightly. Darkness dwells within my damned soul. You journey into my pain at your peril, and I cannot be your Virgil.
You're who now? Anyway, you wrote in your intake form that you're here because... mortals don't appreciate you, you said.
Indeed, and I fear they cannot. They must die to appreciate life. As mortals, they cannot ask the immortal questions. What is life for us who do not live? Why are we here? Why do we continue? What do we do when death has no meaning? And what a piece of work is vampire! How noble in stature, how infinite in life! In form and moving, how express and admirable. In action, how like a demon. In apprehension, how like a bat. Ah, the beauty of the night! And yet, to me, we are but the quintessence of dust.
All right, that's enough of that. Before we answer the question of why we're all here, why are you here? Well, that is, what exactly drove you to me, partner?
Oh, that. The pustule of a theater historian I recently seduced and killed sprang the seeds of doubt in mine corpus. He was writing a biography of the great Edmund Kean, and I thought mayhap that I would favor him with a secret or two. He said my acting style would now be considered archaic. Though I drank him to the last, I fear his cruel barb was sharper than my fangs. This embossed carbuncle of corrupted blood caused me to doubt myself. Are all men such fools? Will I ever find my audience again? Or did they die long, long ago? Help me purge these mortal concerns from my mind, dear man.
We're always gonna have doubts, compadre. That's normal. But I think I can help you see things a little differently. So, he said your acting's out of date. Why don't you just tell me why it bothered you so much?
Because it's simply not possible. Acting became a noble craft entirely because of me. In truth, I am perfect.
Hold on a sec there, partner. Acting became a noble craft because of you? That's a lot of control over a whole skill.
Yes, impressive, isn't it? So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so lives mine art, and this gives life to thee.
Well, those are some pretty words. You make that up yourself?
It is the bard himself, boor.
Well, maybe he had something to do with the development of your craft then. It ain't been just you.
Well, naturally. But Shakespeare's works are simply words upon a page without me.
Compadre, I think you know he gave you a leg up in your career. You can share in the success a little.
Oh, there are celebrated actors in these times, yes. But any success they have is due to my beating the path for them to follow.
Oh, wait a minute. You're saying that every actor's success comes straight from you?
Of course. Even the greatest among my art would have been consigned to obscurity had it not been for my advancements.
Every single one of them ain't had nothing of their own to give to the theater?
Well, I suppose one or two actors in the last 300 years have impressed me.
Well, don't you think they deserve their own success?
I suppose mortals are owed their 15 minutes of fame. One must have some pity for them. We are not monsters. But the actors of modern times, they are shallow, beggarly parrots. Parrots who screech the lines, but do they know them? Do they feel as we feel?
So you're saying modern actors are parrots?
Indeed. They are only mimics, and thus no better than a well-trained bird.
You don't think they're actually birds, do you?
My dear boy, they live such short lives. What else can they do but ape the words and actions of their forebears?
But when you call them birds, you're just labeling them that. You ain't giving them a fair shot.
Oh, come now. I was clearly employing a little dramatic license.
But we're here to talk about truth, all right, compadre?
It is my gentle direction that takes the craft to higher echelons, and mine alone. Acting does not evolve without me.
You're saying only you can change the course of acting?
It is demonstrably true. There is acting before Edmund Kean, and there is acting after Edmund Kean.
But there's so many types of acting out there. I mean, I remember when vaudeville came out, but I don't think you had anything to do with that.
Vaudeville? Oh, like so many American arts, an art of the grotesque. You plunge a dagger into the heart of subtlety.
So you didn't have nothing to do with vaudeville?
Oh, devils below, no.
Well, then you got a little control fallacy, hombre. Mortals got wills of their own.
Indeed. I suppose I don't have any responsibility for the things the Americans create anyway. These critics should honor me, as is my due.
You're saying critics should honor you. What happens if they don't?
Then they are not doing their jobs properly. I do not ask for their laudations without cause. But if a so-called critic does not recognize my contributions to the theater, what do they know of the theater?
Maybe they just got different tastes.
Uneducated taste, perhaps.
If they are just uneducated, why should they appreciate you?
An interesting point. I suppose I cannot blame them. Thou fiend! You are cruel indeed to beat a man when he is at his most vulnerable. I am here so you may help me cope with a world that has gone mad, not so you might attack my every word.
I'm doing no such thing. All I'm doing is pointing out your reality. If we're gonna cope, we gotta be honest about the world.
And I say that you are a villain. I come to you in desperate need, and you respond by mocking my desperation. Why would you do this to me? Do you not know what pain I am experiencing? Do you not know that I, as an actor, feel every sling and arrow more keenly? Art thou a therapist or a murderer that you would push me so to the brink? Do you want me to commit suicide?
I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to hurt you. I want to help everyone who comes to me.
Samuel, a moment, please.
Andy, I got a real problem here. I think I'm not cut out for this work. This fella's right. Why am I attacking him when I should be helping?
First of all, should statement. You will do what you will do, and that is all, Samuel. But look at the candles. What do you see?
Huh?
The candles. Oh, they seem fine to me.
Look at the flames.
Wait a minute. They're getting higher, ain't they? What the hell's going on?
Your client is very powerful. He has his own unique skills earned through the ages. His skill in gaslighting is so intense that it affects the world around him. He is altering reality to fit his distortions. Be watchful, Samuel. Do not let him.
How do I stop it?
Be persistent, and above all, be honest. He does not control your reality.
I await your apology, sir.
I wasn't trying to rile you up none.
Yet I bared my undead soul to you, and you treated me like a pincushion with your sharp pricks.
Pricks ain't got nothing to do with this, Edmund.
And now you seek to proposition me? Of course, it always goes like this. To you I am a void, nay, a whore, to use as you please. Well, you are all alike, I say. Go on then, use me.
You are losing him, Samuel. It is time to remember what makes you special. You are not just a therapist, and you are not just a vampire. He is afraid, but you will conquer his fear.
Easy, boy, easy.
The fuck?
I shall not go easy. I shall not.
Ain't nobody gonna hurt you. There's a good vampire.
A good vampire? What on hell?
You're safe now. Ain't nobody here to hurt you or make you feel bad.
But I...
Oh god.
I'm your buddy. That's us. We're just buddies, ain't we?
He's talking to him like he's talking with his horse.
Buddies? Yes. A friend. A friend. A friend who wishes to help me.
You feeling better there, compadre?
I must confess that I am. Though I scarcely understand how.
Hey, well, that's just great. I want this to be a comfortable place for you.
Yes. Yes, I do believe you. After all, your profession is in many ways similar to acting. It is no wonder that we find common ground.
How is therapy like acting?
It is the exploration of the soul, is it not? A journey into pain and truth. We see those pains and truths and reflect them onto the cruel world.
I ain't sure I quite see it like that, but it's true that reflecting is important. Kind of funny when we can't look in a mirror, huh?
One of death's cruel ironies. Thus must we see our reflections in the mortal audience instead.
You care a lot about what the mortals think about you.
Of course I do. Why should I give a fig about what we dusty old folk think, eh? Most of us are stuck in our relative pasts, if you'll pardon the offense.
But all them folks die. You're what, 300 years old?
Don't remind me. Yes, they die, but I cannot. I must not. If I do not exist in their hearts, there is only the purgatory of oblivion.
I can see why you're so worked up there, compadre. That's a lot of responsibility you're putting on yourself.
Don't you see? My talent is a gift that must be shared.
There's that word again, must. I'm telling you, man, an expectation is just a resentment waiting to happen. You can't control how the world's gonna move. Maybe people just like a different style of acting.
Of course I know the plebeians will never understand my oeuvre. Of course I cannot control how they will respond.
I guess that's a start.
Unlike some vampires, I am not some blood-guzzling parasite who will idly sit and wait as the world turns.
You calling most of our kind parasites?
I am, for that is what we are, if we are nothing else.
All right, let's just forget the part where you're insulting other vampires, myself included. If you say that you're a parasite if you don't do something, you're gonna be scared as hell of not doing that thing.
As an immortal, I aim for loftier goals.
Can you hit those goals if you're busy being afraid of turning into a parasite?
Ah, but your humble speech does belie the true wisdom beneath. I am indeed cruel to myself. I died for the stage, so I should live for it as well.
Well, why should you live for the stage?
What was my death worth if the stage does not matter?
But it's only you who's saying your death ain't worth something. Your shoulds are fatal. Ain't that a lot of pressure?
Perhaps. Though one might argue that all great actors must be forged in fire.
But is acting really the most important thing in the world?
I shall assume that you jest. Vampire society is of no use to me. We are so few, and I cannot have an adoring crowd without a crowd.
Vampires ain't got nothing to offer you.
Nothing they can give, no. Vampires do not understand the avant-garde.
Vampires have a lot to give. We got time to understand things mortals just can't. I think you're painting vampire society with a pretty broad brush. We got some redeeming values.
Oh, perhaps. But an understanding of the stage is not one of them. You know, I see what you are doing. The motivations of man are well known to me through my art.
And what am I doing?
You are mocking me, undermining me, causing me to doubt myself. I know thy purpose, wretch. This therapy business is all a ruse. You would lay me low and claim dominion over me.
All I'm trying to do is help you, friend. Reality's a lot easier to deal with when you can accept it for what it is.
So, now you doubt my sanity? Is there no end to your japes and jabs? I shall not break. Oh, you shall see. The tides of cruel seas will crash upon me, but I do not wither. I know thy game, trickster. You wish to keep me in your debt. The more I doubt myself, the more you take from me. You think you are clever, but thy tongue outvenoms all the worms of the Nile. Well, what have you to say for yourself? Speak, that I might hear thy bile.
Easy there.
What?
I know you're upset and you're scared. I ain't gonna hurt you.
But you want to hurt me.
Good vampire. Ain't you sweet? Yeah, it's all right.
You really don't want to hurt me? You'll keep me safe?
We're safe. Ain't no place safer than right here. We're friends. That's right. You're my buddy now. Just my pal Eddie.
In truth, I am oft left bereft of friendship. Our kind can be difficult.
You mean vampires?
No, actors. But to sense one is not alone in all the world is a feeling to be cherished.
You ain't alone, I promise you. Whatever bad stuff we're living, someone else has lived it already.
'Tis so. Many geniuses were unappreciated in their time, with wonders of their craft consigned to history's dusty pages. Even the bard himself did struggle. There is some comfort in that.
Common nocturnality. We all got the same needs, man. Blood, safety, and sex.
Indeed. I too am akin to the doomed Achilles, though my sore spot lies not so low, but twixt stem and stern.
Tain't my place to comment.
Oh, it seems the spot is no secret to you after all.
Maybe we can talk about that some more in your next session. I think you did pretty dang well today.
Yes, I suppose I did. I am rather good at therapy, aren't I?
If you're here and wanting to get better, yeah, I'd say that makes you pretty good at therapy.
Well, one mustn't rest on one's laurels, must one?
That's right, Eddie. Okay, I'll see you in a few weeks then.
Aye, we shall vanquish my demons together. I cannot tarry. The stage awaits.
Yeet!
Dang, what the hell was that?
One of the darker malignancies of the mind, dear Samuel.
You sure I'm up to this?
You were masterful, Samuel. You were able to take your knowledge about cognitive distortions and turn their definitions outward. And we must speak about this equine ability of yours in your next session.
Oh, that. Yeah, I learned a lot about myself through my horse.
Save it for our next session. Rest, Samuel. You have faced a great danger. Now it is time to drink and be merry with the Goths.
Oh, not sure I'd call them merry, but they know how to cut loose. All right, Andy, I'll see you later.
Good night, Samuel.
Rest in peace. All right, and that's it for this episode. We are partying in the next one.
Well, that was one of the weirdest experiences of my life.
And we'll leave it at that. Pura beat. Goodbye!